Hello everybody, Arx is here with another Hearthstone video. This time I wanna do something a little different. Yeah, I think it's obvious what exactly if you look how this what's the name for this video, and you may ask why. Well, I actually must say I saw many top 10 myself, and there's something about them. I don't know what exactly or why there's so many these videos on YouTube, and but there's something about them, and I saw many of them myself, and I was like, you know what? Why I cannot make my own top 10? So I wanna do a few of top 10 videos, and I decided to start with the Hearthstone. Why Hearthstone? Because I think it's good starting point for any top 10. It can be useful experience, and because only thing which can do with the Hearthstone is cards, and there's many cards, which means there is big selection. So yeah, that's why. I wanna say one thing, and that is this top 10, it's obviously top 10 most overpowered card in Hearthstone, and I actually want to explain how I'm making this top 10. I basically want to try and define overpoweredness, if there is such a word, of these cards, is based like a difference between price of the card and strength what card actually do, and bigger difference there is the most overpowered card it is. I actually did some legitimate calculation and comparing the cards some other existing card, so it is partially based on some this, but also it's based on my personal opinion, so I guess it's like 50-50. And obviously because I'm just a human, there is real chance I calculate something incorrectly or miss some details, so this may or may not be perfectly accurate. It's just mostly of my opinion, but I'm doing my best to make this sounds much legitimate as possible. So this is how I make this, and if you disagree or if you think I missed something, there is few cards which are actually not here on this list, and it is simply because if I find two cards which make this different, which I mentioned before, and they have same value, then I simply need choose only one of them, and I choosing card which is, in my opinion, more overpowered, even if technically they can look the same. So this is simply my thing. I need to choose one of them. They cannot be too many. Also, there is few cards which I mentioned during my top 10s, which are there is actually multiple cards with the same effect, but I choose only one of them as example, which in my opinion is most overpowered. So this is how I wanna make this, and like I said, if you think something is wrong, feel free and mention this in your comments, or tell me what you think it's most overpowered card in the Hearthstone, because let's be honest, there is few cards, well, many cards which are overpowered. Technically anybody can say yeah, but every class have some overpowered cards, so it's kind of kind of balance itself, but that is not point. Like my point here is sometimes I think if I can do like example, which is for example, um, give me a sec. Card such as nope. Card such as, let's say, Assassinate, then you know if you play against the rogue, you know two of your minions are destined to be destroyed. So what is the point to have them? Especially if pretty much anybody, pretty much any class have some variation of on this card. So I know everyone have some, but that is not point. I think cards should be balanced and their price should be equal the effect of the card. Yeah, so I think I said everything important. So yeah, I think I can start. So let's do it. Number 10. Okay, my number 1 is Lightwell. And now here is why. If you check, this card is like 2 crystals, which is really cheap, and its stats are really good for card of this price. But then on the top of that, it can restore 3 hit points and start every round, which I think itself, its effect, which is pretty much worth of 1 crystal. I think. Sure, effect is randomized, so it is a little unpredictable, but still, I think it's a little too much. It's not nearly as overpowered as other things on this list, but I think it's good enough to be number 10. Number 9. Okay, I think it's really obvious why this card is here. You have 2 extra crystals for 0 price, and there is no any downsides or penalization. There is nothing. Like, no discard cards, no any sort of debuff, nothing. Which I think is pretty OP, especially if you were lucky and get this card twice in your first round. You can like summon card with price of 5 crystals in first round, which can be absolutely devastating sometimes. Like imagine, for example, you imagine you are first round and your cards in your hands are, let's say uh, Western Adventure, and you get this card. Oh, damn it. And you get this card. Damn it, what is it? Yeah, and you get this card twice and this once. Can you imagine how much mess you can do in this? Like in first round, you can summon like really powerful unit which can grow really quickly, and like I'm sure this happened to anybody, and I really don't think I need to say more, and this is OP. Number 8. Okay, so here we are. Another card. I think this card is also really OP because it can completely heal any minion with full health and give it a town as a bonus, and it's again cost 0 crystals. I mean, can you imagine what you can do with this card? I mean, you can summon, for example, some really expensive card, such as, let's say, somebody who has a lot of hit points. Let's say this guy, Ice Hollow. Did I say this correctly? I don't know. Or Deadwing, or how about this dude? And I mean, you can like place some buff on it and make his like really lots of hit points, and he can be almost dead. Like he has like one single hit point, and then bam, here it is in your face, like completely healed for 0 crystals. That's pretty overpowered, let's be honest. Number 7. Okay, so here we are, Color Rider. I actually don't have this card, but I'm planning because it is pretty overpowered. I mean, the reason why this card is overpowered is pretty much every time if you use your hero power, it's basically create exactly copy itself. Well, except with ability summon more. This card, its function, it's really similar some other cards. More specifically, what is it? There is one card which doing something very similar. Yes, it's Kern. He basically summon his exact copy. And true, he is stronger. He has for same price better stats. But what make this card different? What make this card, in my opinion, really overpowered is the fact is Kern can do this once and he must die. This card, however, can do this like without limits. And I think this is a little too crazy. I mean, like, especially if you have this card twice and you can like throw it, for example, and make it invisible. If you play, for example, with the rogue and you throw a cloak on it, and this card is almost unstoppable, and you can for free summon 5 hit point, 3 damage minion in every turn for 2 crystals. Really? Am I only one who think it is little too much? I mean, think about it. Like 5 hit points, 3 damage. That's more. That's more than. That's more than most free crystals cards. Like this card, it's cost 3 crystals, and it's even isn't as same good. It has worse stats, and it's called 3. So you can basically summon card which is better than this one. I think it's worth something about 4 crystals, but you can summon it for 2 crystals. And on top of that, your hero power have its own effect. Even if you don't have anything else, that is little too much, I think. That is really bad, and this card needs to be weaker because this is seriously overpowered. Number 6. And yes, we are in number 6, and I choose this card. This card really don't seems to be too overpowered, but after I did a little bit of math, and I found it's actually pretty OP. So to explain myself why this card is here, I will tell you what kind of calculation I did. So first, what this card do is destroy all secrets. So I basically don't know how I can basically any secret if you wanna summon certain effect, and I guess remove it cost exactly same price, right? Which mean if I go here and check mage. No, this is not mage. This is mage. An average, like most expensive secrets, cost 3 crystals. However, this don't remove one; it's remove all secrets. I'm actually not sure how much a price of the effect increase if you want to make it like area effect. There's multiple cards which doing this, but these numbers are not exactly. There's no any sort of rules, or it's really hard to tell how much increase. So I basically get really simple logic and say, okay, if I want to make it like area effect, so let's say it's double, twice as much, which means if removing of one secret costs 3 crystals and then remove all of them, it's I think like 6. Okay, And then it's also remove invisibility for, I mean, stealth for all minions, and any card which have some steal effects is obviously a road, and probably best example is this card. It's cost one crystal and give stealth for one turn, all cards, but only for one turn. So if there will be any card which doing like permanent steal, then I again don't know how much this may cost, but because there is some other cards which doing this, like for example Master of Disguise, which have stats pretty much equal to its price, but it's giving one unit friendly, so I don't think this is too much. So I guess it's worth about 2 crystals, I think. So that's removing secrets for 6 crystals plus uh, removing and stealth for another 2, which is 8 for total, minus 2, which is basic price, which means this card doing effect which is worth of 6 crystals, but it costs only 2, which I think is really OP. It's really don't look like anything special, and this card really don't seems to be too OP, but I think it's pretty overpowered. Number 5. So if you pay attention in my introduction speech, then you probably see this one coming, and I think it's really obvious what's this card is here. This card is what I like to call elimination card, because they can eliminate your minions. There's multiple different type of these cards, and pretty much any class have these. With some changes, they can A. destroy your minions completely, B. transfer them into something useless, or C. reduce their hit points in the point where they can be destroyed with one hit, which is pretty much same thing, to be honest. Like, it's really easy to destroy any minion with one hit point. So yeah. So why this card is so overpowered? I choose this one because unlike other cards which I mentioned before, like I said, there's few more of these. Like, for example, you can say this card reduced for 1 health, and or you can say like, let's say warrior, which have this one. That's pretty much equivalent of similar, if not same effect. And mage have polymorph. Like I said, there is multiple different cards which doing these effects, but I choose assassinate simply because it's more direct, much direct, and have basically no restrictions. This card actually, surprisingly, I originally want to compare this card on compare this card with a fireball, but because Grand Tournament add some new card, and they make things for me even easier. What I mean by that, let's see. Let's say this card. So this card actually, surprisingly, have many shares, many similarities with Assassinate. They have exactly same mana cost, and they can be targeted only on minions. But this card do good, lots of damage. Like 8 is a good damage, especially for this price. But it's just a damage. This card, however, for same price and same target restriction, can destroy any minion completely, and it can even bypass Divine Shield. I mean, you can even do something like really ridiculous, such as summon some minion with really many hit points, such as, let's say, Headwing or Malgos. Did I say this correctly? I don't know, but that's not the point. It has tons of hit points, and if you play, for example, as a priest, you can even double this. You can put all kinds of protection, but this really don't help you. This thing can destroy anything with one hit. It doesn't matter how much strong this card have. This card have infinite power, but this is something which cannot be calculated here. So let's say I make difference between strength of the card and its actual effect and its price. You can base only like difference between most expensive card, which is that wing, and well, these cards have actually variable price. So I think most consistent card is that wing, and he is even discard everything in your hand, so you can technically say it's even more expensive still. He costs like 10 and you can destroy him for 5 crystals, and even divine protection don't can stop this. So yeah, I think it's pretty overpowered, definitely really overpowered card. And I think much better be if this card do, let's say, it can destroy any card, let's say, with price 6, and anything above 6 do, let's say, 4 damage. That will be much more balanced. But that's just me. I don't know how much this is accurate, but yeah, I think this is really overpowered card. And obviously there's some others, but I think this one is much, yeah, like easiest to explain why it's OP. Number 4. Okay, secrets. So I be a little cheaty here and don't choose one specific card because I think pretty much all secrets are really overpowered. I mean, yeah, true is they are a little unpredictable, and if you in some situation you can even avoid some of the effects, but I think they are still really overpowered, like a lot overpowered. I think mirror entity and vaporizer are the worst because you can get even unit, I mean minions such as like some legendary card like Edwing for price of 3 crystals, and that is a little too much. I don't even speak about situations like there is some really some card which you want really badly, some legendary, and you spend lots of money on it, or you just spend lots of time to get this card, and then some lucky mage when you summon your card and he has this and he basically copy your cards. That's really annoying. And for crystals, for price of 3 crystals, you can have any cards. That's a little, or you can destroy any cards. Yeah, that is really annoying, and it's really overpowered. I think will be. I mean, I can understand why this can be stronger than its mana cost, because like I said, it's really a little unpredictable because you have no control when your secret is activated. But give it, this is the same thing like what I mentioned with Assassinate. These cards have no limits, they have infinite power, and that is bad. I would say, like, for example, this card will be much better if I can say you can copy any card with until you hit some limit of the price, let's say 5 crystals. That will be still really good card. But like any cards, seriously. Number 3. Okay, and now we're moving in the category of really overpowered cards. And here as a number 3, it's Divine Spirit. I'm actually curious if anybody is surprised by this, because this card is like really crazy. Okay, so this card, it's a little difficult to explain how I judge this, but because this card is really situational and it can for really low price double your minion health, and that is pretty OP because yeah, it depends how much health you have, but I think like depends of situation. It's strength of this price. This card is like really difficult to define because there is many thing which you cannot affect, but in certain situation you can, if you realize like this card give your minion 2 hit points and work per 1 crystals, and you compare how many health you can get with this card if you use it correctly. For example, again I mentioned some cards with a lots of hit points such as Deadwing, and you can get insanely high hit points for 2 crystals. 2 crystals. You can give you card like if you use this card twice on let's say Deadwing, he can have like 48 hit points, and then that's like crazy many. That's like that is really ridiculous. I think this card need to have some sort of restriction or cast more mana because this is really crazy. And yeah, I think there's like how many times I can remember how many times happened to me like somebody cast for this, because this card how it's work can turn some relatively um, harmless minion into something insanely powerful. So yeah, Divine Spirit. Number 2. Okay, so do I really need explaining this? Because you can basically remember everything which I said about Divine Spirit, multiply it by 2 and apply it on this card, and it's pretty much same. Reason why this card is even to me more overpowered because it's even cheaper than Divine Spirit, and like I said, especially if this card, like this card itself is really overpowered itself, but if you combine it with Divine Spirit, then you can get this insane combos. Like what's happens to me multiple times. I get some cards which you have really low price. I mean, a really low damage, but lots of hit points, such as this card. And I have a situation like I place Divine Spirit and then Enter Fire. Bam! 14 damage, 14 hit points. For 1, you get 40 hit points increased, like basically, and 13 hit points for 1 crystal. That's ridiculous. I mean, seriously, why this card is so cheap? Can anybody like explain this to me? I mean, you can, if you use this card correctly, you can get insanely powerful cards. You can create cards which are strong enough to kill enemy hero with full health with 1 hit. That's crazy. Seriously, I mean, this kind is insanely overpowered. And if you realize, like, fact, Priest have itself a bunch of really good cards. So this card, I think, it's a nightmare of many people, and I'm pretty sure I'm not only one who think this card is overpowered. Because if this card is used well, you can get for really small price some insanely powerful attacks which can destroy pretty much anything. And if you play against Priest and he use this infamous combo, Enter Spirit, Divine Spirit, Enter Fire with some units, and you have not something such as Silence, then you are pretty much screwed. Number 1! And here we are, number 1, Lord Jaxarus, or did I say this correctly? I don't know, probably not. Yeah. This card, I'm really curious. I really like to know person in Blizzard who created this card. what they thinking when they create this card. Because honestly, I think this individual who create this card must be probably drunk, if not something worse, because this card is ridiculously, and I mean absolutely ridiculously overpowered. Sure, it has its weakness, and you can still win, but yeah. So let me explain this, okay? This actually required a lot of math. So first, if you do this card, you become this you hero because become basically this minion, which basically mean if you are injured, it's basically heal you. You can get back between 1 and 14 hit points. But I'm pretty sure most people don't want to do it immediately because that will be wasting if you use it too soon. And if you wait too long, it's maybe too late. So I'm not sure how exactly it is, but let's say make this easier to calculate, and let's say it is 8 hit points. So that make things easier to calculate. So that is like price. It's free, free crystals. Okay. Also, he get weapon with the 3 damage and 8 durability. So fortunately, there is some another cards which doing something similar, and thus is this one. Except it has only half of the durability, so that's easy, and we can simply multiply this number by 2, which means his weapon itself, just this weapon and with nothing else, is worth of 10 crystals. Okay? And also, it give you ability to summon this 6/6 Infernal, which is pretty overpowered. And I think that's probably one of the most overpowered because only one who do something similar is the Paladin, but he has like 1/1 unit, one minion, and now you can do like 6/6 for 2 crystals without any limits. That's crazy. That's like insane. Like seriously. Um, Basically, I was really a little difficult to calculate how much this may be, and I basically based this on this minion. It costs 6 and it has stats, more specifically hit points low, which mean I guess this upgrade of your hero power is worth about 3, but probably more hit points. It is legendary unit after all. There is some units which have even more, such as what is it? This guy. So you can guess that should be like 4 hit points, 5 damage, but no, he had 1 hit points extra. So I think this is worth of about, let's say, 4 hit points, which can be translated on about let's say 2 crystals. So for 2 crystals, there's increased power of your strength of your hero powers about 100%, and this special ability, it's actually increased not 100% but doing like basically 500. So we can multiply this number by 5, which is 10 crystals. Which mean if we do some quick math, let's recap things. So his weapon is worth 10 crystals. His upgrade of ability, special ability of your heroes is worth another 10 crystals, and the healing effect is about 3 crystals. So that's a 23 crystals strength of this card. It's cost 9 crystals, true, but if we do quick math, so that's a 23 minus 9, that is 14, I believe. Yeah, so basically you can say this card is about 14 crystals more stronger than its cost. And I think that's like insanely and absolutely insanely powerful. I really, like I said, I really have no idea what they thinking when they make this card, but I think this card is probably most overpowered card in a Hearthstone. Ugh, why? That's like really, really ridiculous. So yeah, so that is my top 10 most overpowered cards in the Hearthstone. Like I said, I did some sort of calculation pretty much behind all cards on this list, and like I said, part is math, part is my personal opinion. So there's chance I did some mistakes, or maybe I miss some cards. That is a possibility too, because there's always somebody who can have like different opinions. So if you are one of those peoples and you think there's some like different cards or there's some cards which I forget, feel free and uh, tell me in the comments, because I'm really curious. I really wanna know if I'm the only one who think uh, this is okay, because like I said, cards should be a little more balanced, and it's not good. Like Hearthstone is a good game, but these cards make me always like really frustrated, and I mean, there's some of them which are okay, and if I using myself, but because they are so overpowered, and I basically it's almost feel like if I'm cheating or something, because how ridiculously unfair these cards are. I think this should be balanced, and there's definitely something which need to be done about this. Um, yeah, so I think I said everything which was important for this top 10, and I definitely want to do some else, which probably be also about Hearthstone. That is idea after all, and yeah, I just don't know when, but I definitely want to do. So that was my first top 10, and it's covered most overpowered card in Hearthstone. So I hope you like this video. If you do, well, there may be more. So yeah, I think I'm done here. So as always, thanks for your time. I will see you later, and if you wanna see more gaming stuff, there's other things in my channel, such as Let's Plays, mostly Minecraft. There's some other stuff as well, but I probably do some Hearthstone in the future, and some other stuff, and maybe some non-game related things. I don't have any specific what's the word, like restrictions for my channel. So yeah, if you want to join me, great. If you don't, well, yes, you need to find somebody else. That's the thing. But yeah, next time.